Hello and welcome to NDTV and 100 Pipers Glassware True Legend. What defines a legend? A person who's famous, who's admired, who may have special qualities and abilities. In this, the 75th year of India's independence, we're honouring true legends who've gone well beyond the material markers of success to create an altogether different kind of impact. These are the true legends, the champions of good who've achieved real success and are creating a real legacy. They are the future of young India. Nidhi.
नमस्कार। तो इस खास पेशकश में NDTV 100 Pipers Glassware True Legend के साथ उन मशहूर हस्तियों को हम सम्मानित कर रहे हैं जो प्रेरणा के स्रोत बने।
Now, NDTV has a long-standing legacy and history of recognizing and celebrating individuals who've not only been an important part of India's growth story, but who have brought change and impact in society. Let's take a look.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome greatest global living legend.
Nobel laureates.
Thank you very much.
Olympic champions.
He is a living legend.
Bharat Ratnas.
I'm extremely honored to be here to receive this award.
The drive of a living legend, Ratan Tata.
Global CEOs.
Thank you again for this recognition.
We are the largest pharmaceutical generic company in the world.
World Cup winning teams.
You look lovely as usual.
Yes, I am.
Superstars.
This is the best that could have happened to me.
Always a living legend, Amitabh Bachchan.
And superstars who are phenomenons.
I feel very humbled, very privileged to be here today.
Honorary bus conductor sharing your dais with the greatest living legends. It's a miracle.
Icons, luminaries, legends all. Some of the biggest names in India have come together over the years on the NDTV stage, respected and recognized for their lasting impact on NDTV.
Thank you again, NDTV.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
I'm deeply grateful.
Thank you very much. NDTV, thank you Dr. Roy for this honor.
And now, this year, we bring you the champions of good, the future of young India, the true legends.
Nidhi, a look there at some real legends who we've honored in the past.
बिल्कुल। तो आइए आपको NDTV 100 Pipers Glassware True Legend की जूरी से मिलवाते हैं। गजल अलग को फाउंडर मामा अर्थ, तरन छाबरा फाउंडर नीमन शूज, रवि शेरगिल संगीतकार, बाईचुंग भूटिया फॉर्मर कैप्टन इंडियन फुटबॉल टीम, कुणाल कपूर एक्टर हैं को फाउंडर केटो। तो मेरा पहला सवाल गजल अलग से है। आज़ाद भारत की गौरवमय विरासत रही है। इन 75 वर्षों में कई प्रसिद्ध हस्तियों का योगदान अनेक क्षेत्रों में रहा है। तो कैसे इनके बीच और किन पैमानों में इनके योगदान का जायजा आप लोग लेंगे?
I think it's really difficult to measure one legacy over the other. The reason it's called legacy is because it leaves a long-lasting impact and it's not measurable. So I think the only thing to consider here is how long does that impact last for, and that's something that we can use to measure the impact.
Now, Ravi Shergill, I must ask you, we're talking about people who've created a real legacy by making the world a better place for them. What for you defines a better world, a world that you hope actually comes about all around us?
I think the better world has to be defined in terms of the real legacy, both philosophical and material, of India itself. For instance, if I have to really define India for myself or my kids, which I do all the time, I think I look at the syncretic values of the Mughal period. For instance, you look at the architecture, how it amalgamates different influences. You look at Harappa, for instance, and there is an unbroken passage of certain values that you see existing in Harappa to present Punjab. For instance, the common bath, the water love, You find the same water bath in Mohenjo-daro, Harappa, Hakra, and all of those other places, and you find that in Amritsar, in Goindwal, and in Kumbhalgarh, in Chittor. So there is this recognition of water as some sort of foundation of human existence, and the love or the respect that our civilization actually gives it. The other is the beautiful language of Urdu and Hindustani, which exists right now in Delhi, for instance. I mean, it rose up to the level that it could create two poets of some universal acclaim in Mir and Ghalib and scores of others.
Yeah.
It amalgamates different languages in India. So for me, goodness really is about, I mean, I doff my turban or hat to anyone who's, to the mother who's singing, lullabies in her own mother tongue to her kids, to the small-time Parchoonwala who's still holding on against the onslaught of, supermarkets and malls, to the, independent music festivals, organizers who are just, who just don't want to give into Bollywood or other, big money stooges. And, it's about, I see India's goodness in its languages, in the way it is, its belief systems, the way it, the food it eats, the clothes it wears, and people who just have a genuine love for that.
Sure.
So
that's your idea of what a
maintenance
good India.
of that, active nurturance of that, I think, to me, would qualify as.
Sure. Let me go across to Kunal Kapoor. Mr. Kapoor, we are talking about making the world a better place. And crowdfunding is certainly one way of attempting to do that. Now, you're the co-founder of Keto. Tell us a little bit about your sense of what legends need to do to make this place better for all of us.
Well, I think usually people assume that you have to do something very big to make an impact, and I don't think that's true. On our platform Keto, every day we see people contributing small amounts of money, but that small amount of money makes a huge impact. And I think we can all make a difference. We can start with our own immediate environment. You could educate your staff, or you could educate the children of your staff, or if you don't want to donate money, you could sort of volunteer your time. If there's a skill that you know, you could teach somebody that skill. So I don't think that there's any big impact or small impact. I think each contribution really matters, and I think that's what we should do. We should be able to, we should go out there and contribute in any little way that we can, and I think that makes a huge difference.
Baichung, as we talk today about honoring legends, how do you define a legend? Actually, that's actually not the best question, because he's a legend himself. Yes. But still, how do you personally define a legend? Who do you consider a legend? Is the status of a legend only connected to age and experience?
No, I think definitely somebody who can inspire people for positive change, and I think contribute to the nation as well. So I think it's also inspiring a lot of people to go into right path and to do the right things. So, and at the same time lifting your own community, your own state, and overall your country. And I think that's where if you can inspire millions of people across with whatever you do, and then you try and change and get young generation to follow that, I think is something which legends can do it, and that's why they are legends.
Yeah. बिल्कुल बच्चों और तरन छाबड़ा, मेरा सवाल आपसे है कि आज़ाद भारत के शुरुआत में कई भारतीय पायनियर्स बने, नई सोच, नए रास्तों से उन्होंने अपने कार्यक्षेत्र में भारत का एक तरह से भविष्य बनाया है। आपके कार्यक्षेत्र में कौन है जिन्होंने सिर्फ पैसा ही नहीं, समाज की बेहतरी के लिए योगदान दिया, जिससे सकारात्मक बदलाव हुआ?
So I looked at the act of goodness, right? When I talk about true legends, I see how many lives has a person impacted, right? And when you do something, right, are you able to create a ripple effect across the ecosystem and say that when you're heading out and creating, say, a business, when you're employed, when you're working for an organization, what are you doing in your regular day that is impacting, say, 1 million lives? And then making them believe to follow on your path is where legends are truly created, right? Now, in starting my business, when I look at legends across the ecosystem, right, I've looked at what Steve Jobs had done back in the day, right? What Elon Musk is continuously doing with all the companies that he's founded. Look at SpaceX to PayPal to what Tesla, right? He's truly creating a fabulous organizations which are impacting not only the environment, but helping people all over the world, right? Look at the birth of e-vehicles, right? That was truly founded by Elon, right? And the birth of internet, right? Look at Mark Cuban, what he'd done back in the day. So for me, all these guys, right, these are crazy people, and legends have got to be crazy, right? If you aren't crazy, then if you're not mad enough to truly follow your passion, then you're not going to be creating a set of followers who lend into your journey and do the same thing, right? So these are a few examples.
Did somebody ever tell you that you were a bit crazy to make shoes out of footwear out of eucalyptus plant? You must have been. Somebody would have come to you and said, oh, "How on earth? Are you serious? You must be mad. How would you?" I mean,
it's a very funny.
And yet it's an incredible idea.
So appreciate it, right? Now, back in the day, when I had taken a flight when I was working in the US and come in India and pitch to 10 investors in August 2018, right? And everybody told me that you got to be crazy to start a footwear brand in a country that does not buy above 500 rupees and does not understand the importance of sustainability and natural materials, right? When I heard that, it made me do that much more, right? It created a hunger for me that you got to believe in your idea and prove it to millions of people all over the world and then embark on it, right? So I've heard that several times, still continue to hear it time and time again.
And that really is, Nidhi, goodness, the idea of embracing the environment.
Yes.
And, he was telling us something really interesting about how global emissions are hugely impacted by the footwear industry. But he's making shoes out of recycled materials, out of eucalyptus plants, which he imports, and trying his little bit, which is actually a huge bit, to try and save the environment. That's really inspiring.
Bilkul.
So now let's tell you what our categories are and how the voting is going to work. Here are our categories: startup tech, medicine, entertainment, governance, social work, business innovation, sports, environment, music. Each category will have 5 nominees. The winners in each category will be decided through a combination of what our jury decides and public voting. The categories and nominees are now live on our website, ndtv.com/truelegend. So do log on and vote for your true legend while our jury does the same. Well, the nominees have been chosen based on basic criteria. Goodness. These are people who've achieved professional success, but they've used that success as a platform for larger good. And as we've been saying, they are the future of a young India.
तो तरुण जी, मेरा एक सवाल यही है कि नॉमिनीज के आंकलन और विजेता के चयन में आप किस पहलू को सबसे ज़्यादा ध्यान में रख रहे हैं या अहमियत दे रहे हैं? शुरुआत में तरुण आपसे करती है.
See, I'm going to look at consistency, right? When you start heading down in a professional path or the act of goodness, like you guys call it, right? Start तो सभी लोग कर देते हैं. But have you consistently done it time and time again over a sustained period of time to impact, to create a deeper impact is what I'm going to look at, when I consider voting or look at, looking at the results.
And let me put that same question across. In fact, we'll go through all of our jury members on this. So Kunal, how would you define goodness?
I think it would obviously be impact, but that's going to be very challenging for all of us, I think, because these are all people, each one of them is a legend and each one of them has done something which is very remarkable, and it's going to be very difficult to sort of measure one impact, measure the impact that one person has had against the impact that another person has had. But I think impact is a big one. What sort of difference have they eventually made to society? I think that's going to be a big one.
All right, Rabi Shergill, how, it's complicated at one level, but how would you define goodness as something that you would assess in this particular program?
The simple metric I would use is how was the society before the intervention of the said person, and how it is after that person. All the great heroes that I may have had, they are almost the backstory to my life.
Right.
And I feel that the world shifted its axis a little bit after their body of work. So you look at Amitabh Bachchan, for instance. I mean, there's a before Amitabh Bachchan cinema, and there is after Amitabh Bachchan cinema. And goodness, I think, follows pretty much the same criteria. I mean, did the artist, did the person, did the enterprise, did it make our society a little bit better?
Yeah.
And that to me is, I mean, I'm going to look for some clear, identifiable, marked upward trend in goodness.
Sure. Yeah. All right. Okay, fair enough. Ghazal Alaq, same question to you. What are you looking for?
I think for me, what I'm going to evaluate these guys on is if that outcome wasn't there today, what impact would it create? And that'll help me decide one over the other, because otherwise they are doing good deeds. It is goodness that they are spreading. There is no other way for me to measure how's one better than the other. But yeah, outcome versus not taking that action is something that's going to help me today.
And Baichung, finally across to you, how would you be looking at goodness? What are some of the basic criteria which you feel are important in assessing someone in this?
I think somebody who's achieved really big apart from the mainstream thing. And obviously when we speak in India, we speak mostly on Bollywood and cricket. And especially if you're talking about sports, I would see somebody who's really achieved so much apart from the game which entire India follows, cricket. There are other sports which that does not get highlighted or get encouragement, get that kind of platform and that kind of support. But despite all those difficulties, I think some individual or a team has gone on to perform and made that sport, which is not a mainstream thing which people follows a lot, but made that sport or individual has achieved something big and made a big difference to the sport and to a lot of other people who are playing different sports in India.
Okay. Ghazal Alaq, across our 9 categories, we see different scales and types of impact. Will you be changing your approach from one category to the next?
Not really. Like I said, the only thing that I am going to look for is, how long-lasting is that impact? Is it beyond? Does it go beyond the person who's trying to make that impact today? And if it does, then that's definitely going to be one of my top recommendations.
And Baichung, the same question to you. Would you be changing your point of reference from one category to the other?
Yes, I think, as I said, we only should not look into a mass kind of thing. Obviously, when mass people follow it, it's easy to achieve that kind of. But it's something which, apart from that, I think, if somebody is not only doing something which the mass people are following and achieve something really big, as I said, in different fields and made a big difference, is something which I would really look into it.
Well, we've got one more category, and that is defense. Now, this is an honorary category in that there will be no scoring or voting. It's a celebration of the men and women in uniform who've selflessly and bravely served our country for 75 years. And even before that, through 3 wars, in times of peace, when tragedies have struck, protecting our borders, our seas, our skies, our people, the very idea of our India. Their countless inspiring acts of goodness are beyond rewards. These are people with an incredible sense of duty, men and women, because remember, when it comes to our armed forces, there's a lot more than just fighting. There is the value system, the culture of the armed forces, and how it's all about giving to our country. That's why we believe these men and women must be honored. Well, joining us now, Lieutenant General Satish Dua. He's a former Chief of Integrated Defence Staff. Thanks very much for being with us. We're talking about goodness, about going above and beyond stereotypical ideas of success to create an impact, to create a legacy. Now, this is an ideal in the armed forces to put service before self, one way or the other. But there are other factors in this as well. The values you learn as part of the armed forces, camaraderie, esprit de corps, valor, fairness, discipline, fidelity, non-discrimination. How are these essential when one talks about the sense of being good?
Vishnu, I think the concept of unlimited liability embodies the armed forces ethos of service before self. When a soldier goes into combat, he is prepared to die, which is hugely disproportionate to his salary, pension, or death benefits, etc. After all, what price can you put to a man's life? Hence, unlimited. Now, to get a sense of camaraderie, esprit de corps, discipline, valor, I think I'd like to explain it like that. Let's say that if a section has to provide covering fire and a supporting fire, and we have to advance to attack an enemy objective, we are assured that the supporting fire will be provided no matter what. Even if someone in that section is wounded, even if someone in that supporting fire section has lost his life, and that is why we can attack fearlessly. No one, no soldier would put his personal safety above the fulfillment of mission. That sets the armed forces apart and makes us such a unique band of brothers.
सर, हम जो आम नागरिक हैं या सिविलियंस किस तरह से इन मूल्यों को, सर्विस बिफोर सेल्फ को जीवन में आत्मसात कर सकते हैं?
I think the best way to practice this ethos of service before self is to be a good citizen. It's a tough call to be a good citizen, that is. You have to park your car in the parking and walk some distance to reach your destination, rather than park clumsily on the road and inconvenience the traffic. You have to carry your trash till you find a garbage bin, or carry it home if you don't find one. It is about, a good citizen is about obeying following all the civic rules. It is about choosing the harder right over the easier wrong. In fact, I often say this to conclude my talks. Whenever I end my talks to the youth, I say this, and I say it now. If you have respect for the army, if you want to respect a soldier's sacrifice, be a good citizen. Be a good citizen worth dying for. Jai Hind.
General Dua, thanks very much. Now, True Legend is a platform where we celebrate all true legends, no matter what the scale of their impact. A true legend could have created an impact within their community, their neighborhood, even their office. You could know or identify a true legend yourself. Maybe you are one. Now, we want you, the viewer, to be involved in the True Legend process. Help us find a true legend that we don't know about. People across India are invited to share stories. People of any age, gender, economic strata, region, or profession, regular citizens who are also going above and beyond any professional compulsion or call of duty to create a difference, to help others, to create communities, to be human and humane. A legacy doesn't always have to have a grand scale. You can make a difference in one life, and that'll also be a valuable legacy. So we invite you to log on to the campaign microsite and submit a story in the next 4 weeks. That's the time limit. A short list of the names you submit will be presented to our jury for an eventual winner to be decided. That winner will also be at the grand event to be honored as a true legend alongside our other category winners. So do submit your stories of people you know who've impacted lives and will be remembered for good. Log on to the website for many more details.
तो आइए बात अब उन खासो आम लोगों की जिन्होंने अपने बूते लोगों की जिंदगियां बदली हैं।
When you make a difference in even one life, when you impact even one person, you have created a legacy. And that makes you a true legend. Someone who will be remembered for good.
I think that has to be this,
Like Divya Puri, an auditor by profession and an animal rescuer by passion. She lost both her parents but carries forward their legacy of kindness by looking after and feeding at least 400 stray animals every single day. Or like Dr. Irfan Bhatt, a cardiologist in Srinagar who is part of India's largest virtual hospital in Kashmir, working through WhatsApp and handling heart attack cases from many remote areas as well. It's when you go above and beyond any call of duty to help others, to create communities, to be human and humane that you are remembered for good. Like Tiffany Brar, who has not let her disability get in the way of her moving forward, but who has instead started an organization that teaches life skills to blind people of all ages. Or like Surajit Giri, who has started a unique ward in a rural hospital in Assam to help poor people get treated for snake bites without the involvement of ICUs or expensive drugs. This is the platform where we celebrate all true legends, no matter what the scale of their impact. Like the IIT Madras incubated startup, which is empowering the differently abled and helping them break new ground in the e-commerce delivery space with their motorized wheelchair. Or like Sunil Harshna, who is trying to save the hills and forests of Aravalli by conducting walks for residents of Delhi and Haryana, where he introduces adults and children alike to the rich biodiversity of the Aravallis. Truly an extraordinary breed of individuals who will always be remembered for good.
Now, Baichung, if we were to say that a legend is someone whose legacy goes beyond the typical markers of success, you know, somebody who's created an impact through their good deeds, who would come to your mind? Now, it doesn't really have to be someone famous. Who comes to your mind? Baichung first.
Couple of them, but one person I think would really come into my mind is somebody in a place called Siliguri, and he's known as an ambulance man. I think he's been dedicating his life by getting patients from very rural areas of Bengal, taking him in his motorbike and things like that, and taking them to hospital. I think he's known as ambulance man, and his story has been very, very inspiring for me.
All right, Ghazal Alag, would you like to sort of give us an idea of somebody who has inspired you because of what they've done?
So I recently met this 8-year-old girl. Her name is Tharagai Arathna. She believes in letting the oceans breathe, and her way of doing it is cleaning the oceans of the plastic that it has. And I think at such a young age, being able to think about making this world a better place is a massive thing for me. I loved that girl. I love her contribution, and I so want to inculcate some of these values in my kids as well.
Rabi, how about you? Somebody inspirational for you?
There's scores of them, but I think top of my mind, the organizing committee, the leadership of Sanju Kisan Morcha comes to mind.
Right.
There's like I said, anyone who's, the mother who's, passing on the mother tongue to the kid, the small town trader trying to hold out against supermarket. I think all of those people are heroes, and we are filled with. Fortunately, we live in a city where people are, are doing a lot for each other.
Sure.
I think the people who came out and fed the protesting farmers in that in that bitter winter. The community which opened its gurdwaras and its mandirs and for the Kisans, I think the farmer community in general, the way it stood shoulder to shoulder with each other, I think, to me, I've not seen too many instances of something this monumental having been achieved in independent India.
It's a basic sense of generosity also, which is something else, isn't
absolutely. It's you should. I mean, the stories that poured out in 2020 were heartwarming.
Sure.
I certainly wanted to hug Delhi after a long time, and it's a city that's. I sometimes criticize a bit too much, but the way it erupted in support through all the events, to me, Delhi itself was a big hero.
Sure. Kunal, somebody who has created an impact through their good deeds, who comes to mind for you?
The two people that have made a real impact have been Nikhat Zareen and Neeraj Chopra. And not only because they've won medals, but also because they've really sort of inspired a whole new generation of people that want to try a whole different sport, right? This is a country which is obsessed with cricket. This is a country where other sports don't get the sort of mileage they should. And I think these two have really sort of become the flag bearers of their sport, and I think they've inspired a whole new generation. And besides that, I was also reading about this girl Avni Singh, who I thought was very impressive. She's somebody who started an NGO called Umeed, and what she's trying to do is she's teaching women and girls how to drive taxis and ride auto rickshaws. And I think by giving them an avenue to make money and take care of themselves, I think that is something that is very impactful.
So let me ask you this question, and if you were to say that a legend is someone whose legacy goes beyond the typical markers of success, someone who's created an impact through their good deeds, who would come to mind for you?
So for me, it's not one, several organizations that we work with here at Niemann's, right? There's an organization that collects plastic bottles from beaches.
Right.
There's an organization that is helping farmers, right? And ensuring that they're able to work day by day with the right level of technology and loans, right? We work with an organization to donate our footwear, right? So that they can wear a good quality shoe while they are, going on to collect their daily wages, right? So for us, it's all these organizations that are inspiring above and beyond their means of what they do from 9 to 5 or 9 to 6 and continue to make a difference within the ecosystem is what inspires us to go beyond and above.
कुणाल, अगर मैं आपसे पूछना चाहूँ, अगर कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पर देखे, तो अभी तो हम अपने देश की बात करें, लेकिन आपके जहन में कोई अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल में आपके क्षेत्र में कौन सा नाम आप सामने रख पाएंगे?
I think an actor that's really sort of made an impact has been Leonardo DiCaprio. I think he's somebody that's been talking about global warming for a long time. He's someone that's done documentaries, he's traveled the world doing conferences. He's constantly posting about it on his social media. So I think he's somebody that's sort of consistently over the years made a big impact.
तो बाईचुंग, अगर हम अंतर्राष्ट्रीय रुख अब कर रहे हैं क्षेत्र की ओर, कोई नाम जहन आपके क्षेत्र में आता हो जो इसने नाम कमाया हो इस समय?
No, I think मुझे लगता है मेरे लिए सबसे बड़ा लेजेंड रहेगा His Holiness the Dalai Lama. I think in this world of violence and nuclear war to everything going on everywhere across the world, एक ऐसा व्यक्ति है वो एक नॉन वायलेंस प्रमोट करती है, एक शांति को प्रमोट करती है. सो आई थिंक पीपल लाइक हिम, वी गॉट वेरी फ्यू वर्ल्ड लीडर्स आज का दिन में, एंड आई थिंक ही इज वन ऑफ द फ्यू वर्ल्ड लीडर्स, हम लोग वर्ल्ड लीडर्स कह सकता है, जो एक पीस एंड नॉन वायलेंस को promote करती है. So I think for me that's a big thing, and he's definitely my legend.
बिल्कुल दलाई लामा.
I think he's a legend for all of us.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. तरन, आपके जहन में कोई शख्स अंतर्राष्ट्रीय पटल पर?
So see, for me, my life has truly changed after starting a business, right? So every legend that I go after is somebody who's changed and impacted millions of lives globally and created fabulous organizations in itself, right? So for me, the biggest legend that has ever existed is Steve Jobs, right? And I follow him. I love what he does, and the design philosophy that he's brought to Apple today is what I feel is a legend in itself.
Ghazal Alag, let me ask you the same question. Somebody internationally who has been, somebody who's gone above their call of duty and therefore inspires you?
I think one person who we have been very recently reading about is, the Patagonia founder, Yvon Chouinard. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. But, the fact that he could give away the company to contribute towards climate change and make this place a better world for the future generations to come in says a lot about his values and the impact that he truly wants to create through his work. That really inspires me. You have to feel really strongly for something to go ahead and take this call, and it's such a selfless decision. So definitely he's a big inspiration to me.
तो धन्यवाद गज़ल. तो रवि शेरगिल, आप इस कार्यक्रम में आए और ऐसी आप जैसी शख्सियत हो और आप कुछ गुनगुनाएं ना, ऐसा नहीं हो सकता. तो जो आपके जहन में आ रहा हो.
ठीक है, मैं आपको ये तमाम जो हमारी हस्तियां हैं, जो ऐसे जो हमारे यंग एंटरप्रेन्योर्स हैं, जो हमारे देश को आगे लेके जा रहे हैं, इनके लिए एक मेरी तरफ से एक छोटी सी श्रद्धांजलि. तेरे बिन सानू सोहणिया कोई होर नहीं लभना, जो दवे रूह नू सकून, चुके जो नखरा मेरा. वे महा सारे घूम के वेखिया, अमरीका रूस मलेशिया, ना किते भी कोई फर्क सी, हर किसे दी कोई शर्त सी. कोई मंगदा मेरा सी समा, कोई हुंदा सूरत ते फिदा, कोई मंगदा मेरी सी वफा, ना को मंगदा मेरियां बला. तेरे बिन होर ना किसे मंगनी मेरियां बला, तेरे बिन होर न किसे करनी धुप विच छां, तेरे बिन सानू सोहणिया कोई होर नहीं लभना.
Well, thanks very much for joining this program. This is the end of this town hall, but the start of the Legends process. So do log on to ndtv.com/truelegend. Vote for your true legend. Nominate someone you believe to be a true legend. Thanks very much for being with us, and there's a lot more coming up in this very, very special program.
धन्यवाद जुड़ने के लिए.